Hey guys, my name is Jennifer, and if you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This is From Darkness to Light, a path to mindfulness. And the great thing, it's May. May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. So this channel is about helping you navigate your mental health journey. Just to let you know that I'm not a therapist, I'm not a licensed or practitioner or professional anything or other in the mental health area. I personally am just somebody who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder 2 5 years ago. I've had anxiety all my life, so I have been living it. So I feel drawn to share some things that I've learned the past year especially, that may help some. Not everything's going to resonate with anybody, with somebody. Maybe a little bit here and there will resonate with someone, and that's all that matters. Just trying to get the word out, trying to, I don't know, help give a little relief to some people out there. Yeah, so there's no cure for mental illnesses. There's no cure for mental health problems because it's an ongoing journey. You know, we live life. We live in stressful times. You know, there's a lot. There's a lot to take in, and yeah, it's a day-by-day journey. It's all it is, day by day. It's all you can do. One moment at a time. So, some things we're going to talk about today may trigger people, may upset some people, and that's okay. If you need to walk away from the video, walk away. If you want to come back to it later on, excellent. But know that if you get triggered, stop the video, take some time for yourself. Again, take care of yourself first, and then come back later if you choose to, okay? So we're going to start off with the basics. What is a mental illness or disorder? According to NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, it is a mental condition or illness is a condition that affects a person's thinking, feeling, behavior, or mood. That sounds like that could be for anybody and everybody. A condition that affects a person's thinking, feeling, behavior, or mood. That literally is everybody. Not just those of us who have a diagnosis. Yeah. These conditions deeply impact day-to-day living and may also affect the ability to relate to others. That's true too. Mental health condition is not the result of one event. Research suggests multiple linking causes, which they are literally just starting to scratch the surface of. That there's so much more, so much more. Genetics, environment, and lifestyle influence whether someone develops a mental health condition. A stressful job or home life makes some people more susceptible as to traumatic life events. Okay. So that just really narrowed it down to everybody. I don't think there's nobody out there that doesn't have stressful events. A lot of people have had traumatic life events. Some people have had situations where they don't feel that it was traumatic. However, it was more traumatic to them than they realize. Some people have had more traumatic life events happen. And that's, that's just part of it. Again, some people have had more traumatic things happen in their life than others. Some people have led what they thought was a pretty chill, cool life. We're not here to compare lives. Your life is your life. Your experience is your experience. Your reality is your reality. How you perceive your reality is for you and you only. There's no two people with the same mental health issues or mental health challenges, because they have not had the same life. They don't have the same heart. They don't have the same mind. They don't process things exactly the same way. So what could help one person may not help another. What three things may help one person may help somebody or may not help somebody. Unfortunately, mental health conditions is specific and tailored just for you, just for me. What I went through, yeah, and there's people out there who have been through so much more than I have. However, my experience is my experience. And I cannot and will not water that down, that, some stuff has happened. I know there's people out there who have had far worse than I have, and bless their hearts, Hopefully some of this will help somebody else. But that doesn't negate the fact that my perception of what I went through, it doesn't negate that. It is what it is, and I have to navigate through that. We are all sailing on our own little ships through our own little journey of life. And how we process the information in our heads will dictate how we respond to every situation and every person. Okay? It says it's genetics. Genetics. Okay, so we'll talk about that briefly. Did you know, some people may know, some people may not, that life events or traumas from generations ago can affect you today? Meaning, let's say that something traumatic happened to your grandmother. Well, that stress in her body and the fight or flight mode was kicked in her and stayed in her. So when she had a kid, those stressors stay within the cells of the body and get passed on to the child, to the child. So the child is already born with this predisposition of fight or flight and stressors from their mother's traumatic event. Well, if they don't realize that, it's all built up within them already, so they're going to respond similarly like their parent. So that kind of stores in their body, and then when they have a kid, it gets passed on, and then on and on and on. I mean, it makes sense because, we have our parents' DNA. We're matches for certain things in our organs to match them. So they are a part of us, and we are a part of them. So why wouldn't it make sense that their trauma, their pains, their sufferings get passed on to us? It's nobody's fault that things happen. There's nobody's fault that, like I have a mental illness. I've got bipolar too. It's nobody's fault because they didn't know how to process their thoughts properly or their emotions as well. However, knowing this information is kind of a blessing in disguise, because there is a reason. There's always a reason why we react the way we do, or respond the way we do, or think the way we think, or feel the way we feel. There's always a reason. And it's not an excuse. There's a difference between a reason and an excuse. An excuse is when you've got this information and you decide not to do anything with it and decide to blame everybody else. Oh, well, my mom went through this, therefore that's why I'm like this. It's their fault. No. A reason is when you have that information, instead of blaming and using it as an excuse for why you have a disorder or an illness, a reason comes into play because you decide to take that information and use it to your benefit. Use it to figure out for yourself, what can you do differently? What can you do differently for yourself to be in a better place? Some people prefer, it's a lot of inner work to try to sort through all this information and all the thoughts and all the emotions. It's a lot of work, a lot of work. It's a day by day thing every single day. Some people find it really difficult to open up some Pandora boxes and have to learn to, I guess, deal with what's happened in their life and their parents' life and so forth and so on. It's hard. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy because I know it's not easy. But if you don't take charge of what you understand, what you know, you're going to be stuck, and you may never get past, even if you work on it, you may never get completely in recovery, remission from your mental condition, but at least you may offer yourself some relief from the suffering that you feel inside. Take that as you will. I think I explained that okay. I find that with my bipolar disorder, when I'm in stressful situations and kind of amps me up, my anxiety kicks in, and we'll have a whole video on anxiety. For me, I rapid cycle, sometimes ultra rapid cycle, which means I can go really elevated, hyper, and my mind is spinning and out of control in a good way, but that can be very problematic, very, very problematic. Or on the other side, I could be very ill and be hyper but aggravated, aggressive, still hyper, but on the other spectrum, on the downside, which really sucks. And there's times where I do it several times in a day. And it's really tiring and really confusing. And I had to learn how to navigate through that very carefully. I used to drink coffee all day long, just to go throughout the day, get the tons of stuff done. And I used to drink an energy drink a day. I used to eat a lot of sugar. But I found out that especially with my anxiety too, when I found out that I stopped as much caffeine, I can actually be more aware of how I'm feeling inside. And if I start myself to go up, I'll go up with it. But when it gets to a point where I know it's going to start spinning my head out of control, I get a headache and the euphoric feeling, like I'm in bliss. It's like awesome. I feel invincible. But when I get to that point, I know I need to stop and listen to my body and just chill. Put on some slow meditation music and just chill in order to calm the mind down. When I'm aggravated and I'm all wound up and same thing. I have to stop and chill and just put some meditation music on or something very calming. I've got to listen to my body. So mental illnesses will affect everybody and anybody, especially when they become too much to handle. Mental illnesses and disorders are just pretty much not being able to cope with certain things or certain feelings. The word mental, not the greatest word, because when you hear, oh, you're mental, that's not a good way. That's not a good way of saying things. However, it's the only way to really explain being up in your mind. We're all stuck in our heads, always, always, always stuck in our heads. That chatter, that nonstop excessive talking and ideas. The ideas are okay, but the excessive talking, that gets annoying. What you think in your mind, the thoughts that go through your head, most of the time are usually false. The truth of who you are and what you feel is actually in your heart. So when you follow your heart, that's the truth, because you feel that inside you. But in the mind, it's bullshit talk, 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 talk. And those thoughts will affect your emotions and how you respond and how you react to different things. So there's so many different mental health disorders, illnesses, conditions, whatever you want to call it. There's so many of them. And if you got diagnosed with one, there's so many different spectrums of that one. So some people require one pill to help them cope a little bit better. Some people need a cocktail, and that's okay. Acknowledging that your thoughts are not right for you, and knowing that you're responding improperly to somebody or situations is huge. Once you can do that, that's gonna start giving some relief. Now, you'll actually ask yourself, well, if I'm thinking this negative thing in my head, why am I thinking it? It's a good question. You have to start, if you want to, start digging into, why do you think the way you think? Why do you feel the way you feel? And when you start doing that, you become more responsible and accountable for what you do, say, and think and feel. Some people may not want to do that yet. It is a tough road. It's not easy. There's OCD, there's ADHD, there's depression, there's anxiety, there's bipolar disorder, there's schizophrenia, schizoaffective. I mean, there's so many conditions out there that affect so many people. But again, being Mental Health Awareness Month, we all need to be aware with the thoughts that are in our head. Why do we think the way we think? And then why do we feel with those thoughts? And how do we feel and respond with those thoughts? So this channel will help break some of that down for you a little bit more. And it's a lot of information. So much. Okay. It's a lot of information for today. I'm going to put a couple links in the description. One is when I found out about, when I really, I had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder for 5 years, but after 4 years, I didn't really know what it was about. Nobody really explained it to me. All I knew is I got a pill and was told, you probably should do therapy. But it was never really pushed on me, if you will. I didn't know. How do you know you have a problem? How do you know if you're acting irrationally if you're in it? I didn't know. I had no clue that. I thought I was just being super sensitive. I thought that everybody, or a lot of people, responded the way I did, but apparently that is not true. And again, I don't know, I have an issue if I'm in it. So it wasn't until somebody else pointed out to me that, hey, this isn't right. I've been called, hey, you're so bipolar. But I don't think they meant it as, hey, friend, I think you're having a mental health issue. It wasn't like that. It's more like, oh, you're so bipolar. Because I do go from one extreme to the next. I act very irrationally with certain things, especially stress. Horrible. So yeah, if you're in it, you don't know it. So if somebody brings it up to you, hey, I think you're having some issues with your mind or your emotions, or you're acting really kind of off, don't get upset with them. Don't take it personally. They are recognizing something about you that just seems a little off. And honestly, it doesn't hurt to check it out. It doesn't hurt to investigate why they're saying that. Again, don't take it personally. At least they're kind enough to mention it to you. You know, and at least they're not, and if they're coming to you kindly, then they're not saying it out of not hate, or they're not being facetious when they say it. They're actually being genuine friends saying, hey, something's just a little off. You know, maybe you should go see somebody. And honestly, seeing a therapist is not a problem. There's no shame in seeing a therapist. There's no shame in being able to talk one-on-one to somebody privately about your deepest pain, about things that are going through your head. Therapy is fantastic. I used to go every week, but now I'm doing twice a month because I'm doing some inner work that I'm trying to utilize all the tools in my toolkit to see, you know, how I can navigate day by day better for myself. And then going twice a month is good because I can go in and check in with my therapist and talk it out. You know, you'll know the right you may have to find a couple of therapists before you find the right one for you. And, you know, people who have had traumatic events or life experiences, they don't necessarily need to keep reliving them over and over and over again. That doesn't help. So if you have a therapist that keeps putting you back in that position, well, how do you feel when you're there? That may not be the best solution. You have life events and you need to acknowledge them, acknowledge that they happened, accept that they happened. You can't change it. It's already been done. It's already happened. But you can, what you do with that knowledge and how you move forward with that is up to you. But it doesn't mean you need to keep reliving that at all. So again, therapy is fantastic. Again, no shame in the game to see a therapist. There's nothing wrong with talking out with a licensed professional. Nothing at all. I mean, you talk to your friends about everything. They're just as messed up as the next person. So their advice may not be proactive for you. So if you can talk to your friends over a cocktail and about all your crap, what's wrong with seeing a therapist and talking and having somebody listen, literally listening truly to you, and they're there to help you. So one of the things I want to, one of the links I'll have below and share with you is a book that I came across about bipolar disorder, because if I knew I was going to try to take back control of my emotions and my thoughts and my life, I had to do something about it. I couldn't keep going the way I was going. I pretty much felt like I was having a mental breakdown last year, and it wasn't good. It was not a good place at all in my mind. It was really dark, a lot of despair, and I just could not understand why me? Why? Just that's a question I always ask, or a lot of people ask it, why me? And the next question is like, well, if I am to move forward with anything in my life, then I need to know more about what is going on with me. Has nothing to do with anybody outside of me. It has to start with me. You know, we all look for everything outside of us to make us feel better. We look for people to make us feel better. We look to food to make us feel better. We look to drugs, alcohol. We look to other things outside of us to help us feel better. But ultimately, you are the common denominator. You are the one you're going to be with the rest of your life. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. People will come and go. Jobs come and go. Nothing outside of you will ever remain constant. You are the one thing that's going to be constant. So how can it not start with you? And that's the hard part, is going inside to figure yourself out. Okay, and again, a lot of these videos, we'll talk about that, little ideas here and there, snippets. But again, I need to know about bipolar disorder. Already had been diagnosed for 4 years before I even took the time to acknowledge what it is and what it was about. And honestly, it kind of freaked me out, but that's okay. I'm better about it now. So I've got this book, Take Charge of Bipolar Disorder, by Julie Fast and John Preston. It's a fantastic book. I'll put a link down below for those who live with people who have bipolar disorder or those who have bipolar disorder. It's a fantastic book to, it's really thick. It's a good book to utilize and learn about what's happening with you and some ideas and how to take charge of that better for yourself. So I'll post a link down below. Also, there's a couple of support groups for people with bipolar disorder. And one is Polar Warriors, which was fantastic for me at the time. And the other one, it's called This is Bipolar. So I'll post those links down below. I'll also post a link to NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Navigate that website. There's information upon all kinds of different things. There's they have links to support groups, links for more help. So it doesn't hurt to navigate that website by any means. It gives you more information, gives you a better understanding of what's happening out there in our society today. Because again, no one is susceptible from acquiring a mental illness, disorder, condition. Because why? We are all in our thoughts and we're all in our emotions. So some people can acknowledge it, some people cannot, and that's okay. That's okay. And then lastly, I'll put a link below too. I just learned that there is a coffee named Happy. And I don't get paid to talk about them. I don't get any kickback for any of this. I just want to acknowledge it because Happy, NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is actually, they have a stake in the company. They own part of it. And so when you buy Happy Coffee, you help support the NAMI organization. And when you help them, they have so much more resources available to keep researching and creating more resources to help those with their mental health challenges. So again, for the month of May, Mental Health Awareness Month, Happy Coffee. I got this at the Walmart Supercenter. I got Walmart. I know it's some CVS's. You could buy it on the Happy website. But again, it supports NAMI, which is fantastic. So they've got all kinds of flavors. They've got pods. They've got whole bean. Awesome. And actually pretty good, really good too. So yeah, who knew? Happy Coffee. Okay, so I'm going to end this video here and take a little mental break for myself. I will be posting another video soon, sooner than what I did. I had to take a few days of mental health break for myself. I hope you find this information great. Continue to love yourself. Take care of others, but love yourself first. You are who you have. Okay? I appreciate you guys being here. Like, subscribe. I haven't figured out how to put those little things on my video yet, but I'll get there. I promise I'll get there. I appreciate you being here, so thank you.